is Blind France episode 5 definitely does not hold back on the drama, tension, and emotional honesty. If you thought things were heating up before, this episode serves up some of the most revealing conversations and jaw-dropping turning points we've seen yet. So, buckle up, because we're diving in deep. Relationship breakthroughs, breakdowns, and a game-changing split. The episode kicks off right where we left off, with Thomas and Kim in the thick of conflict, surrounded by that tense, late-night atmosphere. The music is dramatic, the crickets are chirping, and you already sense things are about to get real. Thomas and Kim's honeymoon phase is officially over, exposed by a disagreement that, frankly, feels like it came out of nowhere. Thomas feels attacked, accused of being disloyal, hurt by the comparison to Kim's exes. Meanwhile, Kim is frustrated by Thomas's defensiveness. What started as an open conversation about loyalty snowballs into an argument. Both of them are processing their emotions differently, and it's so painfully relatable. Especially that moment when Thomas wonders if a small conflict is enough to threaten their whole relationship. He's left questioning if the foundation they built in the pods will survive now that real life is hitting. Jumping over to the first group gathering, it's the girls' turn to share honest truths. Cynthia brings the energy, joined by the crew, Julie, Tashiana, Sabrina, and Kim for some classic girl talk. The focus shifts to Cynthia and Yannick's fight, which, turns out, was about something as simple as shoes. Cynthia wore flip-flops instead of heels because Yannick felt insecure about her height in public. It's one of those tiny details that actually reveals a lot: ego, compromise, and the little things that can turn into much larger issues if ignored. The girls support Cynthia, encouraging her to be herself, but the conversation ends with the real concern: is this the start of something toxic? Cynthia doesn't want to relive the immature drama of her earlier relationships and wants to set boundaries from the jump. The guys aren't left out either, as Yannick shares his side with the other men. The height difference in Shu's story gets his perspective. He's disappointed that Cynthia didn't factor in his feelings. Both of them have strong personalities, and it's clear that their relationship will be defined by stubbornness unless they learn to compromise. The episode changes gears and gives us a breath of fresh air, beautiful Moroccan scenery, couples living their honeymoons with mixed success. Jonathan and Sabrina are finding their groove through light-hearted banter and sweet gestures, while Tashiana and Yannick break through to emotional intimacy. Yannick opens up about his mother, a single mom who struggled to raise him, and finds strength in Tashiana, comparing her resilience to his mother's. They comfort each other, and their vulnerability is genuinely touching. It's one of those scenes that makes you root for them. Back with Thomas and Kim, things seem to have softened. Morning brings clarity. They apologize and talk through their differences. Thomas admits he's sensitive, Kim tears down her guard, and they both feel the depth of their connection again. Over breakfast, laughter replaces tension, and the chemistry between them feels authentic. They talk whimsically about mashed potatoes and fancy restaurants, but beneath it, real conversations about life together are happening. Parenting, meeting family, balancing schedules. Kim is preoccupied with being a mom and how their lives will mesh. Thomas reassures her, nervous about blending families, but determined to make it work. It's a window into the tough logistics of merging two lives, not just the fairy tale part. Elsewhere, the episode dips into the real friction of relationships post-pods. Cynthia and Jonathan engage in another awkward, circular conversation about exes and boundaries. Cynthia hates vague answers. Jonathan seems afraid of messing up, and their communication just feels stuck. Both admit the foundation they thought they had in the pods, the easy connection, is missing. Real personalities surface. Jonathan feels shut out by Cynthia's defensiveness and distaste for open dialogue, while Cynthia protects herself by putting up a wall. The mutual frustration is obvious. Neither feels heard or loved in the way they need. Julie and Charles present a different challenge to physical intimacy. They're affectionate, but not sleeping together, not even sharing a room yet. Julie needs time. Charles is patient, but you can sense the pressure building. The group weighs in, teasing about shower habits and naked honesty. The mood is humorous, but at its core, it's a nervous check in about what happens when expectations aren't aligned. Both Julie and Charles want reassurance, but it's clear that moving forward will take effort and more time than maybe the show's format can allow. As the episode rounds to a close, couples face new realities. They gather for toasts and group dinners, exchanging kind words and hope for the future amid underlying uncertainty. Behind the scenes, however, cracks are deepening. Jonathan shares privately that Cynthia rarely asks about him. He feels shut down, unable to share, uncertain where he stands. Their strong personalities, which seemed to match so well in the pods, now collide in daily life. He's exhausted, unable to tolerate Cynthia's defensiveness and occasional coldness. He admits it. He doesn't see a future. Cynthia, too, feels emotionally drained and mentally tired. She calls their relationship toxic, unable to communicate or move forward. Then, the climax hits. Jonathan makes the radical decision everyone could sense coming. He initiates the breakup. Enough is enough. Too many nights of conflict, not enough tenderness, and incompatible ways of dealing with life outside the pods. Cynthia is stunned, the music swells, the tension rises. And just like that, one of the show's couples dissolves before our eyes. It's dramatic, but also completely understandable, showing that sometimes love just isn't enough when personalities, communication styles, and needs don't match. Other couples are also dealing with practical issues: where to live, whose routine will dominate, how to balance work, parenting, and romance. The glamour of honeymoon settings begins to fade as talk turns toward real life logistics, the messy business of blending families, schedules, and homes. Some, like Thomas and Kim, handle it with humor and hope, while others, like Yannick and Tashiana, feel the pressure of compromise and wonder if fast forwarding into living together is sustainable. By the end, Episode 5 has stripped away the fantasy and delivered real-world relationship struggles. Everything from personality clashes to intimacy fears, family blending to solid communication is out in the open. The cast is pushed to question not just what they want, but what they can realistically give, and whether they're actually compatible beyond emotional highs and lows. In summary, Love is Blind France Episode 5 is all about transition, from pod fantasy to post-honeymoon reality. Some couples deepen their bonds, learning to accept and adapt. Others discover painful truths that just can't be ignored. Honest emotions, some heartbreak, and a major breakup all set the stage for whatever is going to happen next. So, what did you think of these twists and turns? Which couple do you think has what it takes to make it? and which ones are headed for disaster? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you loved this breakdown, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest Love is Blind recaps and ending explanations. See you in the next one.